6-month-old Maryam was born behind bars, her mother a victim of Iraq's chaotic judicial system. They live, or rather exist, in a cell with 24 other women and at least 2 other children. Maryam's mother says she was arrested for a murder she never committed. She's been in the Kadmia women's prison for 18 months, but has not yet been charged. The first thing that strikes you here is the low murmur, the voices of the 162 inmates. The prison authorities would not let us show their faces, but we heard their stories. Miriam has a playmate. She's 8 months old and in the care of her grandmother, who was serving a 7-year sentence for stealing. The baby was brought to the prison after the rest of her family was slaughtered by Sunni insurgents. That was how her grandmother found out about the killings. From detainees to prisoners, every woman here has a story. From the moment that our crew arrived at this facility, we were being cornered by women who wanted their voices heard and their stories told. We were only allowed brief conversations, a glimpse into these women's lives. Come inside so we can talk to you, a woman beckons. One woman after another told us of desperation and injustice. A young woman sits silently, focused on writing. "Mr. Bush, where are my 4 babies?" in broken English. Then she speaks.
"Mr. Bush, where is my baby?"
This mother, too, desperate for news of her children, shows us tattered pictures.
"I have 11 children. I don't know where they are."
She's into her 3rd year here, awaiting a retrial for murder charges. 18-year-old Rasha was picked up for prostitution. Like many prisoners, she has no lawyer and has been waiting for about a year. The head warden refuses to disclose how many of the women are yet to be tried. But the Organization of Women's Freedom in Iraq says it's just under half. It has begun a huge uphill battle for these women's basic rights.
The tragedy of the prison is the detainees. Most have been waiting for 1.5 to 2 years to reach a courtroom. What is the role of the court? What is the judge waiting for?
But she says accountability in Iraq is hard to come by.
The detainee is waiting for her turn in court. So if she ends up innocent, she's just spent a year in prison. Whose responsibility is that?
Iraq's Ministry of Justice admits that the system is, quote, suffering, incapable of handling the thousands of detainees.
We now have extraordinary circumstances. We cannot apply the normal to an extraordinary situation. We are going through a major security crisis.
The ministry blames a shortage of judges for the ever-growing number of Iraqis behind bars, but Iraq's vice president has a harsher assessment.
Unreliable and lost much of its integrity and to some extent corrupted.
Ignored by a judicial system that's been crippled by Iraq's security crisis, many of these women have no option but to wait. As we leave, we see one woman prisoner briefly reunited with her children. For all of them, a few minutes to cling to, amid the days, weeks, and months of waiting. Arwa Damon, CNN, Baghdad.